Welcome to Professional Car Washing and Detailing's Wash Talk. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, my guest is Greg Tischner from Fuji Electric. Welcome, Greg.
Thanks for having me, Brian. Appreciate it.
Where'd you come in from today?
So I came in from Tampa, Florida.
So you didn't have the sweater on when you got on the plane?
No, I didn't. But I packed it and I was prepared. So absolutely. The gloves and the scarf. Yeah, absolutely. I came prepared.
Cool. Well, welcome to Akron.
Thank you.
Let's get started with a little bit about you. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and the career path that led you to where you are today?
Yeah, so my interest in industrial automation market basically started when I was in the Air Force, and I was attending school in the Air Force as well. I was a crew chief on F-4s, fighter aircraft, and I had an interest in avionics and communications and instrumentation. So a lot of the products that go into a fighter jet are manufactured basically in the industrial automation market. So while I was in the service, I kind of knew that it wasn't something that I was going to be a lifelong thing for me. So I basically moved into the private sector market, industry, if you will. And I was in an inside sales position with an automation company, a parts supplier. And then I migrated to basically an outside position, assuming a role of the sales engineer that was more customer facing. And for a company that is an industrial automation distributor based out of St. Louis. And then I basically left for an opportunity to work directly for a manufacturer. Distributors distribute products that manufacturers make in industrial automation, and I left the distribution role and went to work directly for a manufacturer. And that role consisted of me being responsible for a specific region or a geography of customers, working for that manufacturer. And that was a touchscreen manufacturer, an industrial touchscreen manufacturer. And then I went on to work for a company called Siemens and Mitsubishi, held similar roles with both of those companies in a business development position, calling on customers, and then focusing more on national position than regional geography, and then traveling overseas to work with some of the business units of those manufacturers as well.
Cool. Now we're here to talk about car washes, but before we dive into the car wash side, I just wanted to ask you, besides car washes, what are the other industries you're working with right now?
So for me in particular, in my region and my company, it's very strategic. So we have irrigation, we have pumping, we have oil and gas, we have food and beverage, elevator manufacturers. So it's diverse, but where the demand is for VFDs in particular is in those vertical market segments. Irrigation pumps seems to be the predominant one. Oil and gas here in the U.S. is pretty significant, especially in the Permian Basin. That's not a geography that I'm particularly responsible for. So in my particular geography in my region, I see a pretty diverse base of customers and in different vertical market segments.
Oh, let's talk about car washes. Back to car washes. You mentioned variable speed frequency drives. What does a variable speed frequency drive do, and what does it do in a car wash?
So the variable speed frequency drive is it controls a lot of processes that are basically tied to motors, right? And the motors are tied to basically either a motor or gearbox combination that controls everything from the shuttle mechanisms to move a car through the automated process, from that to spraying high pressure water, high pressure detergents, the blower motors for the drying of the vehicle at the end stage of the automated car wash process. So even the vacuums systems today are obviously they're controlled with motors, and they're using more and more VFDs on motors to control the vacuum systems as well.
How many of these are in an average car wash?
So it depends. It depends on the complexity, because a lot of car wash manufacturers offer products that it can be basic. You can have the basic functionality, or you can have the Cadillac, if you will, with all the bells and whistles. So it depends on the budget that's allocated for the car wash. But yeah, it ranges from, you could have a bank of multiple VFD panels with PLCs and contactors and relays, interposing relays, all kinds of technology in those panels. You could have one panel with 10, 15 VFDs in it, and then you could have 3 panels with multiplying that the X factor to have 30 to 40 VFDs in basically one car wash system.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty. It's a lot of the car wash manufacturers, the OEMs, they have scalable systems. Scalable systems to where you can use, depends on the complexity and how much you want to spend, and the features of how advanced you want the system to be. So.
Well, I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of VFDs, and they're pretty vital to every process that takes place inside the car wash. What should a car wash owner look for in a VFD? Like, what makes one better than another?
So when we're talking about car wash owners, or are we talking about the OEMs? Because a lot of times, car wash owners, when they invest in a car wash, and they invest in the property, and they're committed to the process, when they engage with OEMs that manufacture the car wash systems, a lot of times the OEM, the manufacturer of the car wash system, drives the specification. So car wash owners and car wash purchasers, the companies that buy the automated car wash systems, they pretty much leave a lot of the expertise and the specification of all the components up to the OEMs.
Okay.
So they're going to be more apt to be on the side of an OEM manufacturer and allow them to drive the specification, have that autonomy and discretion. But I think what's most important to a car wash owner is quality, reliability. Because if you think of the duty cycle and the amount of car washes that are actually going through on a daily basis and on an annual basis, you're going to need products that are very high quality and extremely reliable.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you definitely don't want it to break down, and if you've got 30 of them there, I mean, that's 30 opportunities to break down. So you definitely want the best you could get.
Correct. Yeah.
It's expensive when you break down.
It is expensive when you break down, and it's. I think the other key is with the manufacturers that are carefully chosen by the OEMs, is not only quality and reliability, but it's service and support, right? So it's service and support after the sale. So the base of customers that I have with respect to the car wash industry are OEMs and systems integrators, the panel builders, because a lot of the OEMs that I have as customers, they will outsource their panel building. So a lot of the car wash manufacturers that manufacture the automated systems actually rely on systems integrators and panel builders, the UL 508 shops, if you will, to actually build their panels for them. Then they take a complete system and they ship that to the car wash manufacturers, and then the car wash manufacturers will take that paneled system and then they'll integrate it into their other mechanical aspects of the car wash equipment. So wasn't sure if you're aware of that or not, but that's something we see a lot of, and it certainly brings us a lot of opportunity to engage with the systems integrators and the panel builders that the OEMs are outsourcing to, but it also helps us to define where we need to spend our time to drive the specification, and a lot of times it is at the OEM. So we spend our time working at OEMs, drive specification there, and then that specification is basically handed down to the panel shops and the systems integrators that build the panels. They have some tweaking, some abilities to make modifications and changes and so forth, and do programming and so forth. But a lot of it's directed by the OEM itself. So
Okay, so you're mostly working with the OEM at the beginning, and then once the OEM decides this is what we're going to use, this is how it's going to look, this is the layout, and then they send that schematic to the panel builder, who then you would sell it to them to put in the panel, and then they would send it to the OEM to integrate with the car wash.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And a lot of the negotiation rather, and the contracts they're devised and they are negotiated between the OEMs and the panel builders. And the panel builders, we work in concert with the OEMs and the panel builders to make sure that, obviously we have competition, that is in that space, right? So we need to be mindful of where our discounts are, so that not only the OEM can be profitable, but the panel shops and the systems integrators can be profitable as well. So,
wow, so you pretty much work with everybody.
Yep,
Everybody.
exactly.
Now, when a car wash owner needs to replace a VFD, are they contacting their OEM? Are they contacting a distributor? Are they contacting you? Is it all of the above?
It's an excellent question. So it depends if it's under warranty, if it's still under warranty, or if it's out of warranty. So our standard warranty for our VFDs is 3 years. Customers can, especially OEMs, can elect to purchase an additional warranty. We have up to 5 years additional warranty for our variable speed drives, frequency drives. So you can purchase up to eight years, which is an additional 5 years warranty on top of the already 3-year warranty that's available out of the box, right? For OEMs, systems integrators, end users, distributors, and the like. So if there's a problem with one of those drives, typically the first line of defense for the car wash owner in the field is to contact the OEM. Go back to the OEM, then the OEM contacts the panel, the integrator or the systems integrator, the panel shop, and then they'll contact us to buy replacement parts. So it's more of a revenue stream for the systems integrators and the panel shops. But if we're dealing directly with an OEM, then the OEM would basically contact Fuji Electric and get the support that they need. And of course, we go through the troubleshooting aspects first. We don't just automatically say, well, that product's bad, you need to send it back, and we'll give you a replacement for it, or we'll charge you, but we have a specific process. Because our quality is so high and we stamp a 3-year warranty on the product, it certainly is, it's a statement, it's a testament to our quality. We typically find that a high percentage of the time that if there is a problem with the drive, that it's probably something to do with being outside of the drive, like wiring or a short, or your motor windings went bad or something like that.
So you help them identify other problems that it might be, because you have the experience of hundreds or thousands of car washes. So you say, you're able to say, hey, let's check this, and this before you shut down the wash for the day.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And typically what we'll find is that if they have a short and one does go down, this is a revenue stream for the car wash owner. They've got to keep this process continuing. It's got to keep going, right?
Yeah.
So they'll work with spare parts with the systems integrator and the OEM that they purchased the equipment from to make certain, to assure they have some level of stock, stock for field replacements, if there are field failures. And that not only goes to VFDs, but it goes to PLCs, it goes to proximity sensors, photoelectrics, any other touchscreens. It could be any facet of any product in the automation, in the automating in the manufacturing of a car wash system. So, but yeah, that's usually their first line of defense. The car wash owner will contact either the OEM directly, or the panel builder, and if it isn't something that they can solve and resolve, then it comes back to us at Fuji Electric, and then we support them from our engineering support team, which is based out of Roanoke, Virginia, to help them troubleshoot and diagnose.
So you have stateside support to walk them through all the things that it could be other than
absolutely. And we typically take that as a first line of defense. So if an OEM or panel builder, systems integrator calls us, we say, hey, let's transition this over. Let's open a case. We'll open a technical support case with our engineering team in Roanoke, and that's during normal business hours. And then after business hours, we have another team on the West Coast that picks up. So we get all the hours, basically a good portion of the hours. We don't have 24 hours, 7 days a week support, but it's significant enough to where East Coast, and then we cover it on the West Coast. We have engineers on the West Coast that can help with support as well. So
I mean, that's a big portion of the day.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, we have it covered.
Nice. Now you mentioned in there touch screens.
Yep.
I want to ask you about touch screens.
Okay.
I know that's another product that you specialize in. And can you talk about the applications of a touch screen in a car wash? Like what are they being used for?
So not only on the with the customer, when the customer goes up and they actually pay for, and they're in their lane to pay for their car wash, are touchscreens used, and touchscreens are predominantly in an outside environment. So
like the point of sale touchscreen?
Sure, exactly. So, and those have to be industrially rated, right? For shock, vibration, temperature, IP65 or NEMA rated for, rain, wind, dust, dirt. So they have to endure a pretty robust environment. But then when you advance and the customer goes to the tunnel, every car wash now basically has a touchscreen on it. Well, every car wash system has a touchscreen on it.
And the environment inside the car wash happens to be a little bit probably worse than the environment outside, right?
Exactly.
So tell me about that. Like what are they being used for in there?
So it's basically the primary interface for the operator. For the operator that's basically intercepting the customer's car coming in. So from start to finish, when the operator is there, they know exactly what corresponds between the point of sale, the type of wash that's programmed into the system that they actually bought, or what's included in their membership, and that information is displayed on the operator's touchscreen at the front of the tunnel. So when the car actually comes in, they know they have all the information there as to what the customer purchased or what's included in their membership, the type of wash they'll be getting. So all of that information is pre-programmed into the touchscreen. So what this does, Brian, is that gone are the days of where you have pilot lights, operators, knobs, selector switches. Those are pretty much gone. There's a cost basis and a justification for anything more than 10 to 12 operators, whether it's push buttons, pilot lights, knobs, indicators. There's a justification to where you'll use a touchscreen. That's kind of the formula that we use, and that's the approach that we use. But now with car wash systems being automated and so feature rich, and having so many different bells and whistles on them today, car wash or HMIs are inevitably they're going to be used on every car wash, and they're used because it's a lot more intuitive for the operator, right? So when the operator the operator knows what to do. It gives them visualization, it gives them graphics, and so not only when the car is intercepted, but it'll actually give the operator the entire process of the car as it moves through.
As it goes through.
Yeah. So whatever stage it's at. And I think one of the most important things is not only is it intuitive for the operator, but it gives them diagnostic information. So everything's linked back to the HMI through a PLC in the panel, and the PLC is linked to the drives. So they use communication protocols from the PLC to the HMI, and the HMI software allows you to build in diagnostics to look for maybe a sensor downstream, or a photoelectric sensor that's blocked, or a proximity sensor that's blocked, or a motor that's gone offline, those kinds of things. It'll give you that diagnostic information. It'll tell you exactly where it is, where the product failed in the touchscreen at the operator. Yeah, because years ago with car washes, you would have the technician come out and go, I don't know where the issue is. I don't know where the problem is. We got to shut this whole thing down and do wire traces and get out their meters, their own meters or their digital meters, and try and figure out where the problem lies. But now you can build all of that into the touchscreens and make them a lot more intuitive, and give you not only diagnostic feedback on a point of failure in the automated car wash process, but the other advantage is preventative maintenance. So if you can record how many hours are on a particular motor or a sensor, you can go out and replace that sensor and do that proactively before it actually fails.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you can do a lot of preventative maintenance and build that into the software. A lot of car wash manufacturers are doing that as well today. So I probably touched on, with the utilization of touchscreens and in just not only the car wash industry, but because we're a manufacturer of them. And I probably touched on what we discussed today, maybe 5% of their capability.
Wow.
Oh yeah, because there's connectivity to the cloud, and you can connect them to a server. You can interface them to an Excel database, and have information from how many washes you went through that day, and how much revenue it generated. There's so many different, and store that information in a cloud and connect them to a server. They've come a long way from where they used to be just a standalone product. The HMIs are a standalone product. Today they're doing so much more with them, and they're so much more powerful. So,
wow. So communicating with the cloud, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you owned 10 car washes spread across 3 states, and you're obviously only in one of those states, you'd be able to real-time monitor all the things you mentioned, right?
All of it, yeah. You can you can do remote monitoring. We have that capability with our touchscreens as well. Yeah, and it requires a higher level of software. It's so in terms of the connectivity of those 10 systems, it requires a higher level of software, but at an additional expense. It's not something that particular feature. With our HMIs, it's not included, so it's something that you're going to have to
buy.
Yeah, you have to pay extra for that. But a lot of customers and car wash owners, they're willing to do that, so they can see how their processes are running, and they can do it all from one centralized location. Like you said, if you have 10 systems in Florida, as an example, you can be here in Ohio and see all of those systems running, and see what their performance is, and see what it has been for. You can do historical data and trending and data logging and all kinds of functionality with touchscreens today. So
nice. I mean, that's important. It's hard to run a business that you can't see.
Exactly.
And the more data you have, especially for preventative maintenance, and you can compare them. If you've got 10 washes, you're probably looking to get your 11th. You can look at metrics from each store. There's so much you could do.
Yep. A lot of flexibility. You have a lot of options these days.
Well, that was a fairly complex answer. I want to actually, my next question, we got to dumb it down a little bit.
Okay, sure.
I'm just curious. I'm just really curious. How in the world does a touchscreen live inside of a car wash? Like, how does it survive in there?
Yep. So a lot of that is based on the initial design, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of it's based on the initial design. So when we talk about the initial design, there's a lot of manufacturers of touchscreens that don't actually. They promote the touchscreen, but they don't control the manufacturing process because they outsource it. It's manufactured by other companies. Whereas with Fuji, we take the full design of the product, of the HMI, and we own it. So we manufacture it from start to finish, right? So everything from board level components to the NEMA compliance, to the IP compliance, to testing. Obviously, there's some things within the HMI that we don't manufacture, like the LCD screens or the touch screens, the backlighting. We're going to have to purchase those from other companies, but we're a true manufacturer of an HMI, so of the product that Fuji Electric that we present to market. Mm-hmm. So the ability to control the design and make modifications is really key, and then the testing for the product too that we manufacture. So the testing, we test it in our labs to make sure it's compliant. We do our own testing, but specifically when you want an HMI to survive in an environment like that, it has to be IP rated for any ingress of water or detergents or caustic substances or dirt. And the other thing that we do is conformal coating. So you have conformal coating on the board. So if there's any particulates or any matter that get on inside the device on the circuit boards, you have that protection so you don't have shorts on the board. So that extends the life, really extends the life of the HMI as well. But to really control the actual design of the product, and then the actual and the software too. The software is really important too. So we control the design of not only the product, the hardware, but also the software as well. Oh. Yeah. So we don't outsource any of that. And it's important, it's crucial, because that gives us the ability to migrate to new technology, right, in the future. So let's say we have an 8-inch HMI. Uh-huh. We have an 8-inch HMI or a 5.7-inch HMI or a 10-inch HMI, and we control that whole process. If we have new technology that comes out, new screens, new touchscreen technology, or new microprocessors and so forth, we can adapt, we can be nimble and flexible because we own the design. Whereas a lot of our competitors, or a good portion of our competitors, they don't actually own the design. They'll just outsource it and brand label it and put their name on it. So,
I got you.
The advantage of that, it allows us to control the quality and the reliability of the touchscreen, especially in those harsh environments, because of the fact that not only with controlling the design, we do the testing and we make it equipped for those industrial environments. So.
Well, and you can turn on a dime too. I mean, if you realize that there's a better way to do it, you don't have the time to wait for somebody else to make that change. I mean, you have the ability to make the change.
Correct.
You control all the aspects of the process.
Yeah, all of our engineering and product development and software development is in Japan. Huh. It's in Japan, and it's a division of our company, Fuji Electric, and we work with them. We have a whole new line of HMIs coming out. We work with them in concert because it's important to get feedback from our North American customers and give them the feedback as to what features customers are looking for, especially in new product designs. Are they looking for Bluetooth? Are they looking for what type of hardware interfaces are they looking for? What type of memory do they need? So we'll actually go out and do surveys, conduct surveys at our existing customers and new customers, new prospects as well. We do that for our VFDs and our HMIs, both products. We're always asking our customers what type of features and benefits they are looking for in their applications, and we try and incorporate some of those features and benefits into our new product designs that we release to market. So,
cool. Well, Greg, is there anything more you'd like to share with our audience today?
No, it's just been. I appreciate your time. It's been enlightening, and the car wash industry is for our company is very important. It remains a very big focus of ours, and it continues to evolve. New technology keeps coming out. Customers are embracing it. They're using it in their applications. From an advertising standpoint, like the Car Wash show in Nashville, we're there every year. We're there last year. We're going to be there again in 2024. We'll have a pretty sizable booth. And when you go to the Car Wash show in Nashville, it's predominantly it's 95% OEMs. They're OEM car wash manufacturers, right? And a lot of the tertiary equipment. You see some industrial automation manufacturers like Fuji there, but because our presence is so big in the car wash industry, it's advantageous. It's almost it's mandatory that we be there. Yeah, there to support our customers, and a lot of end users go there too. A lot of car wash owners go to the car wash shows as well. So I actually took a video a couple years ago at one of the shows, and the place was absolutely packed. The level of activity there, it's bustling. There's people that come from all over, not only the end users, but again, the OEMs and the systems integrators. And then there's a handful of OEMs that have such a dominant market share here in the U.S. and globally as well. They have a huge presence there as well. So just wanted to share that with you from a marketing standpoint. And from a partnering standpoint, it's a very important vertical market segment for us, the car wash industry, and we have a lot of exposure in the market with our products. So,
Great. Well, thank you for coming.
Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me out.
Yeah, and thank you for taking the time to join us for this Professional Car Washing and Detailing's Wash Talk. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, my guest has been Greg Tischner from Fuji Electric. We hope to see you again on a future episode.